Hi, I'm Georgiana at holisticlifehub.com, your source of self-development. Today's episode is about full moon and Tripura Sundari. The full moon is the height of influence of the moon on our planet. It is that particular moment the flow of lunar energies reaches a maximum, and as a consequence, the increased responsiveness and sensitivity of all living organisms is amplified. The lunar influence is manifested primarily on bodily fluids or on the psyche. Therefore, the symbolism of the full moon is connected with the subconscious mind, the water, the sensitivity, the responsiveness, the adaptability, and the instinctual level. Research undertaken during the full moon showed that most people tend towards the instinctual behavior, which drastically affects the decision-making power and the discernment. This is one of the reasons why it is not recommended to take decisions on the full moon or start important projects, because they can be either hasty or results of the influence of the environment, or of the various people who interfere, or the recent events that have impressed and still are at the surface on our subconscious mind. So, the negative influence of the full moon is previously and after the moment of the maximum 18 hours. This is the period of influence is within plus minus 8 degrees of opposition aspect between the sun and the moon. So, to better understand the influence of the full moon, it is necessary to look at the movement of the moon as a cycle that has a minimum and a maximum moment of impact upon everything which is living. The minimum moment of impact is the new moon period, and the period of maximum influence is during, of course, the full moon. The growth phase from new moon to full moon is a gradual accumulation stage. Consequently, the absorption processes and sedimentation are becoming more intense. Precisely because of this, in the last stage of growth, which culminates with the full moon, is a saturation point where there is the possibility of excess. Hence, we could accumulate more than necessary. We could eat more than necessary. We could eat more than we can digest. We could assimilate more information that we are able to apply and use. As a very important conclusion, it is necessary to have a healthy sense of proportion and balance, especially in the face of maximum influence of the moon. I cannot underline it enough. So, in the lunar circle and cycle, there is a very important moment, particularly evident in Eastern astrological tradition, showing that 2 days before full moon, its influence is particularly beneficial on our planet. It is a privileged day, called the period of beauty, universal harmony, or Tripura Sundari. This Sanskrit name symbolizes the great cosmic power of beauty, harmony, divine good, and divine love. This is the day when the sense of proportion and harmony, the common sense, are easier accessible to every human being. It is the day when we can temper our selfish ambitions by reaching our true aspirations. It is a day when it is good to devote ourselves to love, art, beauty, as well as actions full of dedication. So, the period of Tripura Sundari is the time for us to engage in effective large-scale actions which are in harmony with our spiritual aspirations. Tripura Sundari Day is beneficial to remedy existing problems in relational plan. It is a day of increased creativity, artistic inspirations, uplifting feelings and emotions. The Tripura Sundari Day is ideal to evoke the magical moment of the beginning of an amorous, emotional, erotic relationship, to be inspired by our heart, to follow our intuitions, and to overcome mental pragmatism, which is often an important obstacle on the spiritual path. This is the perfect day for spiritual harmonization of couple relationships and also the best day for love making. Regarding the negative influence of full moons, we need to understand that its processes increase the assimilation of the vibration from the environment regardless of their nature. Thus, if the vibrations in the environment are beneficial, they will be stored in our subconscious, causing a predisposition to higher states of consciousness. But if the vibrations from the environment are hostile, negative, destructive, or even contain a predominance of materialism, our subconscious energies will be saturated with low frequency vibrations, resulting in a predisposition to violent behavior, mental agitation, inner restlessness, and animalistic instinctual action. The police force and the hospitals are well aware that the criminality and accidents increase enormously during full moon. It is utmost important to protect ourselves during full moon. We must avoid taking important decisions because our judgment can be affected by adverse influences of the period. It is also important to avoid unnecessary discussions or to start a new action, a new project, or traveling. No traveling. If you have to travel, it is imperative to be very careful and to invoke divine protection both before and during the journey to avoid accidents. Avoid any implementation of projects, promises, risky actions. We need to eliminate from our diet every toxin or artificial food, and it is very important to postpone surgery, vaccinations, and so on. So I come with a warning. The full moon will amplify our negative states such as pride, anger, selfishness, domineering tendencies, and so on, violence, aggression. Because of this, it is very important to cultivate, especially during full moon, common sense, detachment, humility, simplicity, kindness, gratitude, and of course, last but not least, faith in God. This is why it is extremely detrimental to make love during the negative influence of the full moon. During lovemaking, due to the merge and deep auric expansion of the two lovers, there is a great chance to take in unconsciously the negative vibrations which exist in the environment. It was found that those couples who do not comply with these recommendations are more often faced with embarrassing problems, with tensions, with quarrels, and often without no reason for it, they manifest jealousy, possessiveness, ridiculous claims, and sometimes states of verbal, mental, or even physical violence. So please be aware and not make love during full moon, but 2 days before. It is important to know that several millennia ago, when the vibration of our planet had a high frequency of vibration, the frequency of vibration is generated by the overall level of consciousness, aspirations, thoughts, and feelings of people. The rituals of initiation were made at the time of full moon, and the reason was that on the maximum influence of full moon, people were having an increased receptivity to higher vibrations existing in the subtle atmosphere of the earth. During to the influence of the psyche, many people in the period of full moon face agitation, fear, anxiety, or problems during sleep. Of course, this influence varies from person to person and depends heavily on mental health, mental balance, emotional balance, the main aspirations, self-confidence, and the harmonious solarity. It is important to avoid calming drugs because they will be quickly absorbed into the body